All right, guys, talking catching today, just a couple mindsets. Number one, I firmly believe that it's the most important position on the field. It might not be the most talented, but you're involved in every single play. You got to be a leader on the field, and you got to make sure that we take control of the situations that arise. So a couple things that I see, especially at the younger squad, that's big for me is communication. We always have to be talking to the infielders, talking with our pitchers, coaches, umpires, whatever it is. So make sure we communicate. But what I mean by that is, say there's a double cut play or whatever, we're calling out the base, and too many times I'll hear 2-2-2, and then that's it. Well, that's not enough, guys. We got to make sure, number one, we're loud, so we're going 2-2-2-2-2, and then the urgency in our voice, and keep on repeating it. That way we make sure that our defenders, our infielders, kind of know the situation on where the runner is, and we can make plays happen a lot quicker. And then I touched a little bit on umpires. Number one, this is a big thing for me. We always need to be communicating with the umpires, making sure that right away in the game we go up, we shake their hands, we introduce ourselves to them. We're asking them questions, all that kind of stuff. And making sure that we never show up the umpire or disrespecting the umpire. It's okay to ask, hey, is that ball 2 balls out? But it's never okay to show up an umpire where if he calls a ball and you say, come on, man, that's a strike. So just a couple things about being leaders. And then the last thing is making sure that we're an on-the-field psychologist for our pitchers, our defense, and we're controlling bad situations. So anytime kind of body language, we got to read that. Go out to the mound, take a mound visit, calm your guys down, and making sure that whatever situation presents itself, that we're calm and we make sure that we're communicating and being loud with our calls. So going into the stance, there's 3 primary stances. The first one's pitch calling. So this is going to be when you want to communicate the signs with your pitchers. Now signs I'm not too big on. That's between a catcher and a pitcher, and you guys got to work that stuff out. But a couple keys on this is making sure that we're in a comfortable position. That way we're balanced and everything like that. When we are calling signs, I use the kind of cue that you need a cup check. So we take our hand and we kind of cup check ourselves, and then we squeeze our thighs, making sure that our knees are pointed to the middle infielders. This is a great way because you're going to have coaches on the line, and you're going to have base runners trying to peek in. That way we're not exposing our signs. Make sure we're not down here, we're not too high up, so that's why I really like that cup check. And then lastly, we need to make sure that our glove is down towards the ground or on our knees. Especially as you get in higher levels, there's going to be a lot of third base coaches kind of sneaking up on that line. And we got to make sure that we're covering up our signs. So that's the first stance of the 3. The second one's our primary stance. This is the stance we're going to be mainly in. It's with no runners on or early in the count. And we got to make sure we're in a nice relaxed position. So we kick our feet out, okay? And our feet need to be in the inside of our weight needs to be on the inside of our feet. Make sure we have flexible hips, our butt's sitting low. We have a nice square target to our pitcher, presenting that good target. And lastly, we need to make sure our glove is low. Kind of the guideline is start at your knees and work down from that. The reason why we have a lot of catchers like this, but when pitchers tend to miss, they're going to miss up instead of down. And just that good aiming target, that good focal point right there, is going to help our pitchers keep our pitches down. So that's kind of the primary stance. The main things, make sure we're square. Too many guys are like this, kind of offset to the pitcher, and that's not a good presentation to the umpire or a pitcher. And then lastly is our secondary stance, and that's going to be with runners on or even 2 strikes. So what we're going to do, kind of same concept, make sure our chest is square to the pitcher. We have that low target, but we're going to stagger our feet. I like having my right foot middle with my left foot, okay? Weight's going to kind of shift a little bit more onto the balls of our toes. We're going to raise our butt up, and we're going to make sure that this hand is either right behind our glove in a semi-fist, or we're going to tuck it in this hip. So kind of a side version right here. I kick out, feet staggered, square target, low target right here, and we go from there. So those are the 3 primary stances. Next, we're going to talk about receiving.